think we're all right there.
Yeah.
I enjoy this music. I don't care what anybody says. Hello, everyone. It is Thursday night. It is almost 11:30 Central. We're almost there. It's late. I am TJ. That is Adam, and this is Amigos After Dark. If you're joining us this evening, good evening. Hope everything's going well for you. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're handling life as it gets things thrown at you on a regular basis and you're able to cope and compute. Welcome one, welcome all. Adam, how's your week been so far?
It's been okay. I mean, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been terrible. Yeah, okay is a good word for it.
Well, dude, I got to tell you about Tuesday before we get into anything else I've got listed out here. I got to tell you about Tuesday.
Okay.
So the other half and I had a rare day where we both had the day off. Now, of course, obviously, living in separate states right now, it's difficult to have any time where we might actually have a chance to have a discussion without, having time constraints of work or time constraints of, personal lives or time constraints of any sort, really. And it did not happen. All right. There's just a whole lot that's going on her end. There's a whole lot going on my end. I have 5 different things going on at once, and I'm trying to pull it all together all at the same time. So I did what I figured I should do at that point, and I decided to start drinking.
Okay. And here I was hoping that on your guys' days off, you found a way to meet in the middle as many ways as you could.
Well, I mean, we'd like to meet in the middle, but we're not going to be able to meet in the middle.
I mean, obviously, you both leave your locations and meet somewhere around the halfway point, and then hopefully you guys find other ways to meet in the middle as well.
But I mean, we'd like to, but we're not going to be able to do it from 1,200 miles apart.
Yeah, but
hey, we both got a day off. This is the problem with a long distance relationship. I'm going to go into that in a minute, but I mean, that's something I actually wanted to discuss tonight. So, I get a text message, and the text message, long and short of it, was, "I need to think." I'm going, uh-oh.
Yeah,
so I sent some pictures of what was
going.
Right. I sent some pictures of what was going on throughout the day, and pictures of my bike and my uncle's bike being out, and looking out of one of my favorite hangout spots over the lake and the dam, and just out really enjoying the day, right?
Okay.
And then by the time I get the message from her husband, who is a friend of mine, don't get me wrong, or ex-husband, that she's sleeping, hey, leave her alone. Well, now the only other thing I've heard all day was, "I need to think," and then I get a message from him, and then let's combine alcohol, and we'll go now to bad decision number 2.
What I would assume would happen, just knowing that,
right,
is okay. She's choosing to get back with her ex.
That was kind of where my assumption was at.
Even if it's only temporary, it's still not a good decision.
Right, exactly. So that's where my assumption was at. Now, little did I know, which I found out the next day, that there were other complicating factors on her end. Okay. That literally a 3-minute conversation would have been able to take care of, and say, "Hey, I've got ABC going on. Let me have a break." Okay. And then I would have been like, Okay, you need a break today? Cool. Take a break.
So a different way she could have put it was just
pretty much. And it was just it was
Essentially.
failure to communicate, mainly failure to communicate on one end, misinterpretation of communication on the other end, combined with alcohol and Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad idea. So not only do I spout off like an idiot,
Oh no.
then I go swing leg over Harley.
Okay. So
Me and Ruby
did you get into this time?
Yeah, me and Ruby decided to take off for a shot. After blowing through a construction zone well over the speed limit and getting back and stashing Ruby, here comes my uncle, and then I proceed to receive a 45-minute ass chewing for being an idiot and putting my career on the line because I blasted, drunk, off my ass, blasted through that construction zone in a way that he was not. He has the bike that could have kept up with. He had that bike out.
Okay.
And that was the bike that could have kept up with me and probably passed me and got me to stop. And he held back because of how much I was grabbing.
Okay.
No, I'll catch him at the shop and I'll rip him apart. And he did, rightfully so, he did. And I mean, and if we take a look back at the last almost 20 months of me living here and the different promises that I had gotten by a couple of different ones. Oh, I'm going to move down there, blah, blah, blah. It just felt like deja vu.
Yeah.
Now, and again, I'll say it, me personally, I should have, hey, different person, give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's talk tomorrow. Let me sober up.
That's difficult to do though under those circumstances.
But I should have thought of that. So I get a call the next morning. I'm going to be honest. I was actually sitting here doing the final touches on my letter of resignation when she called initially. Okay. And I was like, I'm not answering this. This is not the time for me to answer this. I have other things that are on my mind.
Okay.
So I was typing up my letter of resignation for work, and I finished that, printed it, went up, had coffee with my uncle. I slugged a lot of water down. And then when I went and got in the car, I was on my way to work, and I talked to her then. There's been a lot of things going on her end that I knew some of it I did not. And the omissions of what I did not know were enough that would have made a difference if I had known that 2 days ago. Okay. But since I did not know that 2 days ago, bad idea, So, I mean, again, I was wrong in the honest to God fact that I did not take the time to sit back and go, this could be going on. I don't know. I'm not there.
Okay.
So I'm going to say half of this, maybe 3/4 of it because of the drinking, was my fault.
Okay.
There is some blame on the other side. If we're going to sway it, it's mostly my fault, but there is some blame on the other side as well. Luckily, we talked it out. Things are good. I still love her to death.
It is a two-way conversation.
Yes, and that was kind of where I haven't had a chance because she's had a bunch of stuff going on with work and with trying to keep phone charged and everything else. We have not had a chance to actually sit down and have an hour-long conversation, which would be fucking phenomenal right now. I would love to have a conversation where I could just sit here and we could talk. And we haven't had that chance. So, Yeah, we love each other. Yes, we're still planning on making everything work. And the whole thing that kind of threw me is, dude, I was looking at condos.
Okay.
And I found one that's lakefront, 2 balconies off of bedrooms, 2-car garage, uh, right on the golf course. I mean, I don't have to walk far to a tee box. I've got to walk 40 feet. Buy
There
a
you go.
golf cart. I can go. I'm a part of
Mhm.
the HOA. I can go golfing whenever I want to, and it's $250,000,
Okay.
which is rare for that particular area, because that particular area is one of the top resorts in Central Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a golf resort on Lake LBJ. And I was excited. I'm like, I can't do it now. Obviously, there are too many irons in the fire on the other end. But if I can keep finding stuff like that and it's there, this is perfect, right?
Right.
I have to think about it. Uh-oh.
That is not what you want to hear, though.
Yeah, no, that was the
Not
wrong
at all.
time to hear that. And I'm like, I was
Granted,
actually
you rarely want to hear that anyway. But
well, I mean,
not
there are certain times where if you hear I have to think about it, it's very understandable.
it can be.
Like if
As
you
long
say, hey, if you were to send a text and say, hey, would you be willing to orally satisfy me tonight? Well, I have to think about it. Is it a pleasant thing to hear? No, but
it's not off the table either.
it's not off the table. So you got a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Hey, I was checking out these condos. Maybe this is something for us in the future. I mean, these are good deals. I have to think about it. Wait a minute. Grab the e-brake. And that was where my mind really started running. And just like I said, it's between alcohol and just a lot of other stress that's going on. Rage being a big one.
Yeah.
It's snowball effect. And unfortunately, she caught the crossfire on it this time, which is dumb on my part. I should have known better. But she caught it, and so did my bike.
Yeah.
Which my bike is used to it. My bike is used to when I'm in a bad mood, Ruby gets the abuse. She's used to that.
Yeah, she seems
That's
to
actually
enjoy
when That's actually when she kind of comes to life. Yeah, that's when that motorcycle comes to life. Like, oh, okay, you're having a bad day. Ride me hard and put me away wet so you don't take it out over here. Oh, okay, gone.
Yeah, some metal stress relief.
So, one of the difficulties that this really kind of it grows into is the difficulty of having a long-term or a not long-term, but a long-distance relationship. Which, when you and your wife got together, as I remember correctly, for a little while, you had a long-distance relationship. Am I misinterpreting that?
Well, 24 years ago is when Julie and I met. We met in college. After college, it's all been kind of long distance. At one point, I was living in Springfield and she was living in northern central Wisconsin.
Right.
About an 8-9 hour difference. Definitely long distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally get that. I mean, granted, your relationship's a lot longer distance, but
right. And
and there's only so much technology can do.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me like the intimate stuff. Dude, yeah, I would love to have that roadblock broken.
Yeah,
I really would, but that would cost me hundreds of dollars, and I would have to mail it. And then if it's intercepted by, say, one of the children, I don't want to explain Oh, yes, that's a new style of
It's a new
um
lightsaber.
that's a new style of machine that will unclog a drain.
It's a plumbing snake. It's a
Right,
plumbing.
it's a new plumbing snake. That's what it is, and I can run it from here. What it makes funny noises too. No, this is a bad idea. Yeah, this is something I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. This could be bad. Um, I'm sure if she is in the chat room right now and listening, she would be like, "No, that's a great idea. You should get this."
Well, don't they have devices that if you sent a part of it to her, you could control via
Oh,
like the
yeah,
internet?
yeah. They really do.
Yeah.
There are intimate devices that are out there that you can send a link and then your partner can control said intimate device from very long distance away.
Yeah.
Which is, as long as it's hooked to Wi-Fi, hey, that's great. Well, my phone's always hooked to Wi-Fi. Doo, doo, doo. We're ready to go. But these are things,
Have your ringtone set her off. There you
right?
go.
I mean, granted, she would definitely look at Motorhead a whole lot differently if it was my ringtone that would set her off. But these things are out there. They are available. They're things that you can use to try to improve the long distance relationship. And I mean, it's not like, especially with us, it's not like I can go, "Oh, hey, honey, I've got a day off. You've got a day off. Let's meet in Joplin so we can have a quickie."
Yeah.
I mean, it's not feasible. I mean, for me to Joplin, that's about 11 hours. It's about the same for her. No, this is a bad idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, the travel time needs to be less than the amount of time you're going to spend with them.
Right.
So if you're traveling 11 hours, so what? You get like 2 hours of play and then you have to start heading back before the start of the next day?
Well, I don't know. It's been a while for me, so it might be a lot less. I'm just being honest.
Well, I'm trying to give you guys time to have like, some foreplay, maybe a dinner.
I'm kind of counting. Okay, dinner. Yeah, then maybe we'd be at 2 hours if you count the dinner. You've got to count probably the half hour worth of crying because of disappointment on because I disappointed her. And that's just because of my inadequacies in the downstairs region.
I swear this never happened.
Yeah, right. Why did I fall for this? Wow, this is never going to please anybody. But you get what I'm saying. We have there's a lot of obstacles to overcome. And like Tom being a fan of our show, and somebody who is also in just dealing with the difficulties of a long distance relationship, because he got involved with another fan of a different podcast that I listen to, and I listen to rather regularly. And the two of them, honestly, I believe they would make a great couple. They'd be fantastic. But the downside is that where they're at, like Tom's in one part of the country and the significant other is in another part of the country. He's dealing with the long distance relationship. Now they're making plans of what they're going to do to each other when they get together. And that is mildly disturbing because I have seen Tom. Like Tom, he's got a great sense of humor. Tom, I mean, if you're listening, I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings. I love you to death as a person, but I really have no desire to ever see you in that type of a position. And I'm happy she wants to. I really am, but not me.
Well, then I guess it's good that it's not you.
Yeah, I'm very excited that it's not me.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. I'm satisfied with the fact that will not be me in that position. I don't have to see that. Granted, there are other people that I know that would love to see me in that position in a hot tub and talk about my hands. And I'm like, Or
so you get stuck when you're doing laundry or something like that.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was another one I heard recently. Like, if I got stuck in a dryer, this same individual would try to
sneak up behind you. And
sneak up behind me with no pants. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if my other half knew that this same individual had said that, I think her first question would be, what's his name? The second one would be, where does he live? The third one would be, how many trash bags do I need? How many trash bags do you need for what? To dispose of the body. No, we're not going there.
How many pounds of lye will it take to make him disappear?
Will the Sangamon County River catfish eat? No, we are not going there.
No.
No. And it's just been over the last few months, it's just been this roller coaster,
Yeah.
I finally, for those of you that did not know, I finally pulled the trigger last week, a week ago today, actually. And I put my notice in at the school. I will be leaving teaching for a while. To be honest, I think it's going to be on a permanent basis. I need to go back to doing what I'm planning on doing, but there's a bonus. The job I'm going to is also looking at, within a few months, making me a driver trainer. So what I learned at the school is not going to all go away, and then I get a little more money for being a trainer.
Yeah.
So literally,
it's quite a substantial raise.
Yes, it really is. The difference between what I'm making at the school and what I will be making going back to running line haul for a contractor that is contracted to FedEx, which is what it is. Substantial.
Yeah. Not to sound jealous, but what I make a year is less than the difference that you will make from one job to the other.
That does sound like a little jealousy creeping in.
Just saying.
I'm okay with that.
Listen,
but
that's awesome. Great. I'm glad you can get that. But
but that also puts me back into the tax bracket I'm used to living in, where I'm accustomed to living, what I'm used to making and earning. And I got this. Okay, I pay the money. No big deal.
Yeah.
And
as long as you maintain the lifestyle you currently have.
I have, but it's been a stretch. There have been things I've had to sacrifice to be at the school. But I'm starting to sacrifice things that are not acceptable. I am not going to sacrifice things like the maintenance on my car just so I can go to and from work. That's unacceptable. The upgrades that I want to get done on the motorcycle because I have to go to work. It's unacceptable.
I've heard that you've almost had to buy the generic version of your beer just to save a little bit of money. That's unacceptable, TJ.
When I have to start drinking Malort, we are done.
Yeah.
They're just no. When I'm looking at PBR and going, man, I think I can afford that. No, I was there in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid 40s. I should not be I was there when I was a professional broadcaster. I don't need to be there now.
When Stag seems to be a promising option.
Right.
No.
But I'm going, Stag. No.
Yeah. It's like I can get like 4 cases of Stag for what I buy my usual beer at.
When I'm driving by the Good Strip bar, because I know I could afford to get into the one where the girls are in there with surgical scars and flubber, it is time for a change.
When you're going into the nice strip club, but you're bragging about making it hail.
Right.
That's bad.
when you walk into when you have to go to the strip bar that guarantees that you are walking out with crabs and you don't have to touch anybody, it is time for the change.
Yeah.
It's time to get back to what I do. Yeah. And I do have a lot of people that are very upset with that, and they all have their way of showing it. And I'm good with that. One of my coworkers yesterday, we want to get a 6-person golf cart, and we want to do this and we want to do that. And I'm like, hey, I got the one that's for you. Trying to help out my uncle. I'm like, we got the one for you. It'd be perfect. I gave him the price. And then they go online. They go, oh, well, we found this one for blah, blah, blah less. Substantial amount of money less. I said, well, then go buy it. I don't care. Yeah. We'll sell the one we got anyway, and we'll get the money we want out of it. The end. Yeah. I mean, if you want to buy something that you don't know anything about, go ahead. The one we're offering you is everything you want and need, and we're making sure it's ready to go out the door.
Yeah, it's like, do you want the one you can test drive, or do you want one that has a stock photo?
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I wanted to look at him and go, did you marry your wife without a taste? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. But I didn't go there. I bit my tongue. I've still got a week left there, so I've got to behave.
For now.
For about another 4 days worth of work. Come Thursday next week, I plan to be fired. I'll be fired for a whole day, and then I'm moving on. It's no big deal.
Yep. It's nice to have an exit strategy.
Yeah, I've got a plan, right?
Yeah.
So I have
monetize this, right? We're just going to make all the money that you need off this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to. You're still just going to pay me attention, but that's about it.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do: is I'm going to start stripping, and the only people that'll throw me money are the ones that want me to get off the stage.
Well, maybe the one that wants you to get into his dryer, but
well, he might give me money, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I would put quarters.
He'll find a slot on you.
Oh, I bet he would.
Uh-huh.
I bet he would.
Or at least he would really enjoy trying.
So I talked to a friend of mine today.
Okay.
Who said, hey, you got to hear this.
Okay.
I got to hear this. What are you talking about? So he sends me this messenger message, right? Okay. I know what is this? He goes, listen to it. This is a podcast. I said, okay. He says, that is reviewing a show that you are very familiar with. I'm interested.
Yeah.
So I turn it on and I listen to it. I have not laughed that hard in 6 months. So then, of course, I sent it to Adam. And Adam listened to it.
Yeah, I am also very familiar with the podcast or show in question.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm dying. I could not believe it. And to find out, I found out later from an independent source, they are happy about it. I'm like, every aspect of your lives was destroyed.
Yeah, this podcast roasted them for a half an hour.
Yeah.
There wasn't much they didn't touch on. And none of it was nice.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'm like, the people that are there and knowing what I know about that program, I'm like, I could see everything that was said throughout that and why and how, right? And I'm like, they're not wrong. That's the bad side. That whole thing was destroyed and they're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, as a friend of some of the people on that other podcast that we're familiar
I'd use
with,
that term very loosely if I was you.
I feel bad for them because they were trying to do something. However, there's a backstory there.
There's a big backstory there.
But as their friend, they were trying to do something. So I'm sad that it didn't go that well, especially with the flaming roast that they got.
Oh my God.
Holy cow. But as TJ's friend, I couldn't help but laugh at this.
I know.
Because if they were just roasting strangers,
right,
hilarious, just ripping them apart. But I'm in this dual area.
Yeah, no, and I get what you're saying. Now the backstory, obviously, I'm not going to go into, but there are reasons where I don't have that duality.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm like, oh, there you go, kiddies. Like, there are things that Chris will say on this show. And I love Chris, okay? I love Chris to death.
I mean, he's a pussy for not coming on tonight.
Well, he's probably sleeping or drooling over his wife's vagina. I mean, it's one of the two.
Okay.
And let's face it, if you had a chance to be face first in vagina or be on the show,
it's like, listen, where are you? I enjoy me a nice taco. Okay.
Who doesn't? Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the point, you know. To get back to my other point, there is so much that's there to unpack. And they were extremely, you know, I could go into the backstory, but I don't want to. It's dead. It's done.
Yeah.
The only thing I get is a little bit of I told you so vindication from it. And I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm right there. What I was saying about Chris is I love Chris to death. Chris is one of my broadcast partners. He's been with me for a lot of years. Even when everything hit the fan with us on the old show, what a lot of people don't realize is Chris and I still remain friends. We still continue to talk after that. We had a break.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where we did not talk, but then he started kicking in his 2 cents and I was listening. But one of the things that Chris does not understand about where I was at then and where I'm at now is there are certain things that Chris is very, very adamant about that I'm not. And the one thing I will give Chris is he respects that and he doesn't push it very often. But when he does, I've got to stop him and say, hey, no, let's reel this back in.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to do that. You know what I say? Or you know what I mean? Corey, I'll probably just sit back and laugh.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, I'm not doing this to be famous. I'm not doing this for anything other than I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. I mean, from the way it sounded, if you take it personally, it's not going to feel good. So you got to be able to laugh at that. If there's something critical in there that you can take away and use to make it better, then try. But
I mean, that's me. I would probably do a little constructive criticism with it and be like, okay, well, yeah, maybe these are things that need to be improved upon. And I agree with that.
It's like, trust me, this is my first few times doing podcasts and stuff. I know I'm not good at this. I try to get better, but I know I'm way off.
Yeah, no, and I mean you're improving every time. But like I said, there are certain things that, like I said, with what Chris has got some very staunch beliefs, and some of those beliefs I will look somebody in the eye, and I'll look Chris in the eye and tell him that I think that some of those beliefs are very antiquated. And those beliefs do play politically. And unfortunately, some of the stuff that's being said is, oh, they've done small shows to nationally syndicated shows. Oh, okay.
Well, it looks like from what Corey said, they also roasted Rays.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading here too. And I heard about that, and I actually want to go back and listen to that too, because I'll probably crack up at that at the same time, to be perfectly honest about it. And Ray's one of my closest friends. I love Ray to death. Ray, I heard about your surgery. I heard everything went well. I heard he's home resting, and get well soon and get back on the air. We miss you. So no, there were certain points that were made that I have to agree with. I mean, anybody who knows me knows that I am politically, I'm very much a moderate. There are certain things I see on the right that I agree with, but then their extreme side, I'm like, nah, fuck off. And then there's certain things on the left that I agree with, and then their extreme side, I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
This is where I stand politically. Literally politically. I want the country defended. I want our homes secure. I want the budget balanced. And I want the government to get the hell out of my pocket and get the hell out of my life. And everybody else's pockets and everybody else's life. I do not agree. And I've made this very, very, very loud and very clear. I do not agree with a first-year congressman making $275,000 a year. I don't agree with that at all. I do not agree with certain people in Congress having insider trading information that they can use and they can utilize to gain wealth. I disagree with that. There should be checks and balances. And if you are using insider trading to gain your wealth, then you should be prosecuted under the letter of the law as enforced by the Securities and Exchange Commission. You really should.
Yeah.
I do not agree with LGBTQ plus being so politicized that certain members of that community are targeted every day. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. We all have a right to be who and what we are. The end. If you don't like it, you don't have to like me. That's fine.
That's what's nice about this country.
Exactly.
We can all kind of do our own thing, and we should really stay out of the business of others. So,
yeah, Corey, exactly.
Yes.
We cannot do insider trading. Why should they? He hits it on the head.
Yeah, they sent Martha Stewart to prison for insider trading. Why?
But they won't send Nancy Pelosi. They won't send Mitch McConnell. Hey, oh, by the way, there's one on each side of the aisle. They all do it. Okay, I'm going to say it. Shoot me if you like, if you want to. That's fine. There's only one person in Congress that I would agree with doing insider trading, and it is only for one reason, and that is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that would be just to fix the horse face and maybe remove the stick from her butt. And they've got to afford that, and we're good. Yeah, okay,
yes,
term limits.
Yes.
Corey, absolutely.
I'm a proponent to where if the president has term limits, so should every other office.
Okay, now I will agree with term limits, but I want to get into a point. Ray and I are not far off. Ray Lytle from Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. Please tune in. Check it out, morningdisaster.net. You can become a subscriber. Free shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Very good program. Please tune in, and do not be offended by the guy that shits himself. There's my plug. Ray and I, we agree on a lot of political stuff. There is some stuff that we disagree on, and there's no secret about that. And we're good friends, okay? Let me try to put this into a little bit of perspective here. Ray and I both think Trump is fucking wacko.
Okay.
I do not think the other side of the coin that Kamala Harris is the answer.
Okay.
I don't think she's the answer because I don't think she knows which way is up right now. And you can almost look in her face and see that she's very overwhelmed. Trump was doing great until he decided that him and social media were friends.
He really needed a PR manager. Like, especially
he needs one now.
Yeah.
Because
he
literally
he has the money to hire one. He has the money to hire a firm to take care of it.
Yeah, okay. And Corey hits it. I mean, she's just...
Yeah.
So we have two extremists running for a job that should be held by a moderate. Ray, very staunch Democrat. Okay? Very, very staunch Democrat. Ray actually threw something out there that I could not, and he'll deny it. He'll deny it.
Are you and him going for the presidency now?
Yeah, we'll make Ray the president. I'll be his VP.
Yeah. Is that what's going down?
No, actually, Ray would be his wife would be the president. Ray would be the VP. I will be the Secretary of Defense.
Okay, that would work.
And we're gonna make.
Is Steve going to be the head of the Department of Sanitation?
No, he's going to be the Secretary of Interior.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And Corey's right. Trump has always had people that do not know how to say no.
Yeah.
And when somebody does tell him no, he don't like it. Look at what happened on January 6th. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
January 6th was manufactured by Donald Trump. It really was. Because he got told, no, you can't keep that pretty office. He pushed the buttons. I don't care what anybody says. That is my opinion. Has it been proven in a court of law yet? No.
No.
But that is my opinion. Just like it is my opinion and standing opinion. Everybody has a right to be who and what and how they want to be. The end.
Now, I think there's a caveat there. You can be whoever, whatever you want, as long as you're willing to accept the responsibilities of it. You can't just and everything else Yeah.
There are lines, okay?
Yeah.
There are very staunch lines. Now, you cannot come up and say, I today identify as a serial rapist.
Yeah. No.
And then think you're going to get away with it. No, I'm sorry. That's over a line. You're violating somebody else at that point. I am a serial pedophile. No, first of all, you have crossed a very large line. You're violating not only someone else, you're violating children. And now you need to be 1,000 feet away from any school. I identify as a serial killer. Okay, Dexter, that's great. You need to go over here. Again, no, this is beyond the normal society.
Yeah.
Do I believe that we should take care of our tired, our poor, our wretched, our disabled? Do I believe that we should be taking care of our less fortunate? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's always a cause that is worthy of our compassion. And we need to focus on that. We need to make sure it's there. Do I believe that there are medical reasons that would cause some things such as obesity that would create the disability? Absolutely. I do believe that is there. Do I believe it is at the level that's been projected? Absolutely not. I think that was used as a political football. And I think doctors with the training and the knowledge are the ones that should be making that call.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because doctors are trained very well to do what they do. But then you have to factor in the people that go to the doctors. Are they doing what the doctors say?
And and that's again right there.
That part's completely out of control of the doctors. They can
Absolutely.
only give their professional medical advice. And if you don't listen,
then you're kind of booting the football.
Yeah.
Do I believe that LGBTQ in this country has been suppressed and has been persecuted and has been targeted? Absolutely, I do. I see it every day. Do I believe that there are as many people that identify as transgender as there really should be in this country? I mean, they identify, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
we can't argue that. That's that's proven statistic.
Yeah, I do believe that there are some people out there that claim it, and they are trenders, maybe.
Yes.
But that's still their right to do so. As
Absolutely.
off as it may seem, that's their choice.
However,
like they're pushing it onto you.
However, on the flip side of the coin, utilizing that to a point where it would create a detriment or disadvantage to those who have actually gone through everything to be truly diagnosed.
Yeah.
Now we're crossing a line.
Yeah.
And when the one that sits there and I have friends that are trans, okay? Know them very well. And there's not a one of them, not one, that is going out there and ramming it down your throat. Matter of fact, most of them are very shy and are very scared.
Yeah.
And they're scared for one reason. They're scared of the persecution that they're afraid they're going to receive because of how society portrays them now.
Yeah.
And that started because of politics.
Yeah. So I mean, you have the persecution toward LGBTQ plus, and
Yes.
then the people who are standing up against it, some of them are fine and well, but then there seems to be this militant wing of it that seems to do a bit more. And it's kind of at the detriment of the whole group.
Right there. Corey hit it on the head.
Yeah.
People in groups who think that their opinions are the only ones whose matters and other opinions are garbage. Both sides are equal. Both sides need to stop, and they need to stop pushing agendas, and they just need to love each other. Absolutely.
Corey, you are on fire tonight.
That's dead on the head. I couldn't have said it better.
Yep.
Look, I was raised Catholic, okay? Let's talk about the single most extreme of Christianity that you can get to. It is so extreme that you have the Catholics and the Protestants fighting over Northern Ireland, probably the safest place in the world to be Jewish. The fact is the fight's not, it's over little crap.
Yeah.
And the same thing could be said about that whole thing. All they have to do is recognize each other's differences and respect them, and then stand back and just go to the basics. And the basics are love each other as you would love yourself, treat each other as you want to be treated. And if you could do it there and leave it there, we're good. I wouldn't say so much Bush, Corey. I really wouldn't, because you had a little bit with the Bush Gore in 2000, but the votes were recounted and Bush actually did win it. And then Gore stepped back and respected that. But if you go 2004 with George W. Bush's reelection, no, I disagree, because the reelection was still very much in the heat of the aftermath of 9/11. And I think how he handled 9/11 and how he held the country together, that really is what got the reelection for George Bush. Not to mention John Kerry. John Kerry? Look, I can remember a point in time where John Kerry would F a snake if you held it straight, okay? John Kerry was not someone that was going to get elected. I don't care if he came off looking cleaner than Seattle Slew. It was not going to happen. But George W. Bush had that popularity going into the 2004 election because of 9/11, because of what happened, and because of how he worked with Congress. He worked directly with everybody, and he did a very good job during that time of crisis of holding this country together. And I mean, granted, when he was talking, he nodded all the time. So he did kind of look like a turkey, which is where I get the whole gobble gobble joke. That was great.
Yeah.
But I would say if you got into more of President Obama's election, and the divide started right after the crash. I would say that's when it started. In 2008, when the economy crashed, and the different decisions President Obama made, and then his individual mandate with the Affordable Care Act and everything that kind of moved forward from there, I think the divide I really do believe the divide started with the individual mandate with the Affordable Care Act. I really believe that was where it really started to happen. And then you wind up with Hillary Clinton, that nobody wanted, and Donald Trump, which everybody voted in based on his popularity from The Apprentice.
Yeah, reality star. Yay.
And it turned out to be just an absolute disaster for our country. You can have a strong domestic policy towards foreign policy. That's wonderful. You cannot go out and poke the bear. You can have a strong trading policy. That's wonderful. Don't poke the bear. If your political rivals come up and they want to talk to you about something, take the time to hear what they have to say. Don't tune them out and then go on social media at 3 a.m. while you're sitting on the crapper and start talking trash about them. I'm sorry. I mean, this is a laundry list of things that are there that President Trump booted. And then January 6th, that was the icing on the cake. So then we get President Biden.
Yeah.
Who took a lot of the good things that President Trump did do. And let's face it, no president out there does all bad. No president out there does all good. Everyone does something good. Everyone does something bad. But took the positive things that were moving in our direction, the basic American person, and reversed them and made it harder on us. And then, the day that he quotes Elmo on Twitter, my friend Elmo says, this is the president of the United States.
Well, at least he didn't say, my friend Elmo says, tickle this.
No, he didn't say that, thank goodness. But
yeah,
you have the president of the United States quoting Sesame Street. That was kind of what did it for me. I'm like, look, please let it be somebody on the other side that I can look at and I can say, this is going to be a moderate, that is going to be somebody that's good for the country, that's going to have a strong foreign policy, have a strong domestic policy, and they're going to put it to work for us as a whole, as a country. Who do we get for a nomination? Donald Trump.
Now, I will say this, regardless of who the president would have been when COVID hit,
yes,
it would have been hard for anyone to navigate that.
No, absolutely.
Some make it more difficult, I will say that, but it's hard to get around that, regardless of who the president would have been.
And you're absolutely correct. And I'm not going to knock what President Trump went through or how he dealt with it or what he did to make sure that we were on track because of it. But you don't go out to the American public and say, hey, just shoot some bleach in your veins.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're way out here with something that's not proven.
Yeah. Or take this horse antibiotic.
Right. I mean, really? But on the flip side of the coin, the man will deny medical evidence on another point. Well, those doctors are just lying about those transgender people. They're full of shit. No, they're not. The majority of them that are receiving medications and moving forward to align themselves, it has been diagnosed, dipshit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a condition where some people have, an extra chromosome.
Yeah.
Like they're XXY, and they have to go through those treatments.
Yeah, explain to me somebody that's intersexed.
Yeah.
Explain to me somebody that's asexual. I mean, there's so many different things that are out there. And yet this dumbass, and this is a place where I disagree with Chris, and I hope I do, and he knows it, and he knows my reasons why.
Yeah.
But I disagree with him because he's like, well, this is who you are. That's how you were born. This is who you are. That's it. No, it's not it. Do I think life-altering medications on a child that is under 15 is something that should be going on? Absolutely not.
No.
Do I think it should be happening before 18 without parental consent? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, there's development all the way up to 24 years of age.
Correct.
On whomever the person is.
Do I believe that there should be some psychological study?
Yes.
Evaluation.
Absolutely.
Things. Yes, I absolutely do. That is a very life-changing, life-altering subject. Absolutely, there should be a psychological evaluation or 5 to make sure that this is absolutely what needs to happen.
Yeah, or is this to compensate for an underlying trauma that occurred?
Or an underlying condition. And that is something that should be investigated and interpreted.
Absolutely.
Do I believe that, now why do I put, and I threw those ages out as an example, but why do I put the ages out there? I put the ages out there as like you're starting to, we as individuals start to become aware of who and what we should be and are right around 12 or 13 years old. I mean, it really starts to wake up then. You may have an inkling growing up, but right about 12 or 13, that's when that switch comes on. No child should feel as if they are going to be persecuted by going to their parents and expressing a concern. And the parents, rather than jumping to a conclusion, should be going, let's go see a psychiatrist to start.
Yeah.
Let's go get an evaluation. Before we do anything, let's start there. Start with the mental health evaluation. And there are mental health evaluations that are out there that will determine, no matter the age.
Yeah.
Do 3 of them. They're all going to change. But what's it going to be? Is it going to get stronger?
Yeah.
Or is it going to get weaker in resolve after puberty begins to take its course?
Exactly.
The individual that is 35, 25, 40 years old, 30 years old, whatever the case may be, that is well over the age of 18 and saying, no, I need to do this for me, I would still want at least one of those evaluations.
Yeah.
But if it comes back, no, this needs to happen, then do it. And we as a society should not be persecuting them that need to get it done.
Yeah.
They're doing it for their own mental and emotional and spiritual stabilization. Back off.
Yeah. It's like, how can that be a bad thing? To work on your own mental health. I know people who just identify as, a male identifying as a male. Okay.
Yes.
They need mental health too.
Absolutely.
Okay. Everyone does. So how does it make a person who believes that maybe they're male but believes that they should have been female? Why should they not
exactly
be able to do the same?
Exactly.
It doesn't really affect you unless you make it affect you.
And the only way it's going to affect you is if you are in an intimate relationship with said individual that maybe that light switch just flipped on and they're trying to explain that to you. Otherwise, what's going on in somebody's bedroom is nobody's business but theirs.
Yeah.
Stay out of it. It's not yours. Are they sending you naked pictures? I mean, if that's the case,
even if you can't respect it, stay out of it.
Yeah. Shut up. It's not your concern.
Yeah. It's like, use that energy to focus on what you're doing in your room.
Right.
Maybe the person you're with will be happier.
But the point that I'm getting at is like, sorry, folks, but the point I'm getting at is like, Chris is one of those that's very much, this is how it is, and it's the way it is, and that's it. And I respect that opinion. But you notice when he starts going down that tangent, I'm like, and we change gears and we move to another subject. Yeah. I'm doing that, one, so he doesn't step on himself with his own broadcasting. But number two, because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And he knows it. And he generally goes along with it, and that's it. And we're good to go. So, and I, like Adam, you and I both know people that are transitioning as we speak.
Yeah. A few of them.
Yeah. And would you agree or disagree with my statement that I'm going to say that as they've begun and they've moved forward, are they or are they not happier?
Yeah. I mean, the person I know, she has become a lot more happier since, the transition has continued. There's still some work that's being worked toward, but I think that's the same in everyone's life, regardless of whether you're transitioning or not. Yeah. But she seems very happy and she's continuing on, and it's definitely a good thing. And then there's someone else that I know quite well that he is at the beginning of the path.
Okay.
Still not an adult, but that's when the psychiatric side of it is coming into play.
Right. And I think
and it's feeling out where he is, and if that is, I don't want to say a valid option because I don't know. That's not, and it's not my place to say.
But I think you brought that situation up to me before, and I'd said the psychology is the key.
Yeah. I just try to be, for both of these people, I just try to be supportive. It's all I can be. And if I'm not going to be, then I just need to step back and not say a damn thing. Because if you can't say something nice, don't say anything, especially to people close to you.
Fucking crotch rot. I mean, was that not nice? Damn. But you know what I'm saying? It's things like that where I look at it and I listen to it and I'm like, we got to have these serious shows once in a while because everybody wants to get out and do the funny stuff. And I do too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I like having a lot of fun.
It's great to laugh.
But it's also
in this world.
But it's also highly important to address things of this when they are uncomfortable.
Yeah. Because that's why you should address them. Because if you don't work through
then all we're doing is we're just feeding into the egos of people like Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, AOC. And we wind up with where we're at right now, where honestly, you look at Washington and you think the purge is a great idea. If I had 12 hours, I would make sure that before it started, I am right outside DC. So I could go in and kill as many of them as I can. But that's not going to solve anything either.
Yeah. Hate has never been great at solving situations.
No. It's communication and compromise.
Yeah, because hate will just harm more people.
Absolutely.
So
now, I mean, you studied in college. Correct me if I'm wrong. You studied in college to become a youth minister, wasn't it, or a music minister?
It was a music minister, and then I also studied Christian business administration.
Okay.
Essentially, how to do taxes for a church. To put it,
which is we made no money, but we're driving Cadillacs.
Well, it's how to write off those Cadillacs.
Okay. So there's a sneaky way around it.
Yeah, you know how to take that missions trip without it costing you any money and getting the money back during tax season, or how to build that really nice office for the preacher and make sure everything in it is tax deductible.
I wonder if I could get this network named as a church. And I could get us all to, I could get all of our biggest listeners on a cruise.
Church of Mayhem.
To the, to like a nudist colony in the Caribbean for a week.
Are you sure you want to see some of our listeners nude?
Not really, but I've got a blindfold, so I'm good. Let me be nude. Wait a minute. Some of our listeners, I don't want around if I'm nude.
Yeah.
But I mean, you maybe get that, and then I get back, and I say it was a mission trip to the nudist colony.
A mission trip or just a business trip?
No, it would have to be a mission trip because we're taking people to the Caribbean nudist colony for a week where all the drinks were included in the trip.
If you were all members of this church/business, as long as everyone at some point in time talks about this church/business, it becomes a business trip, and everything involved can be written off.
Well, I mean, I'm sure our listeners would be members of this church/business.
Yes.
So then we're good.
Yeah.
And of course, we'd be broadcasting live.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of editing.
A lot of blurs.
Yes. Absolutely.
Blurs. Yeah.
But no, maybe I'd never do it. But, I'm just saying, it's one of those things. It's like a random late night thought. Man, if I could make the network a church.
Yeah, the Church of Mayhem.
Mayhem Unleashed presents the Church of Nudity.
Well, I mean, Chris already claims to be the god of tits and wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he misspelled wine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he forgot an H.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. What are you going to do that other show at 11:30 at night, dude? It's going to come in handy when I start the new job and I'm up at 11:30 at night and broadcasting from the truck.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he a strong proponent for this show?
Yes, he was. And he's made one.
Once.
He's made one.
Yeah, we don't count the 3-minute show up on the first episode because he was gone before a lot of people showed up.
So, while I re-pour my drink and I gotta pee, why don't you give your opinions on some of the stuff that we've been talking about tonight?
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm a father of one of the people, or a stepfather, I guess, of one of the people I referenced. So being the father of this teenager who is male or believes they are male. Not, I have to be there to support them. It'd be crazy if I didn't. he needs a supportive father. He doesn't really know life with one. So supporting them, guiding them, even through this transition that I don't really know much about. I often have to contact my other friend who's further down that line, and she gives me the advice that I often need, or at least the line of thinking that I need to hear, to make sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing. But, he is going through, the psychological aspects of this. And if it's determined that it's the path that he should be on, then that's the way it'll go. Um, I'm I'm gonna love him for it, regardless of where the path takes, and I'm not gonna judge him for it, even though I'm religious and he's not. Still a person, still deserves love, and that's really all it needs to be. So yeah.
I have got to admit, it is hotter down here than a snake's ass.
Hey, at least you have air conditioning.
Finally. God, finally. I went so long without that. A week in that weather was forever. Dude, I was dehydrating overnight.
Damn.
I was drinking literally 2 to 3 gallons of water a day.
Wow.
Just to keep myself hydrated. And of course, I go into, Corey, I'm surprised. I'm glad you asked. What happened was my front AC went out, and now the 2 roof airs on my coach, they have a control board that's in each of them, and they were actually designed to communicate with each other and the thermostat. Come to find out, after some diagnosis, I found out that the front one, the board is fried, which means that the AC is fried. And then when we went to separate the power cord going into the board, let's say my uncle got a tickle from Mr. Electric Man. And that told me right there that the drain for the condenser was not allowing the AC to actually drain. Long and the short, as a diagnostic idea, I pulled the cable that was running from the back one to the front one for communication, and I plugged it into the thermostat, lit the back one up. I've got a small standalone unit that is assisting the back one in keeping the coach cooled off.
Okay.
And it's actually maintaining during the heat of the day. The heat of the day, I could still sleep like a log because I can maintain that at 70, and it's cool enough that I could sleep back there very comfortably. These damn alerts. The front little standalone unit, during the heat of the day, the front of the coach will get up to about 82, 83, which is it comfortable? Not necessarily, but it is bearable and livable, and I can deal with that. And actually, no, to be honest with that front unit has been giving me problems anyway. So I'm actually going to be replacing that unit within about the next month and getting everything we rewired and hooked up. And I'm actually upgrading that unit to a more powerful unit to help with really taking care of the coach. So over the course of the next 5 or 6 months.
You really need to because of the Texas heat. I mean, I don't care if it's a dry heat, whatever you want to call it. It's still like 105, 110. So,
well, I mean, everybody goes, but it's a dry heat. And I've got to agree with Walter and Jeff Dunham. So's a fucking fire, but you don't see me going and sticking my ass in one just for fun.
It's like, yeah, convection ovens are a dry heat too.
Yeah, right? I mean, I'm sorry. No. But the fact is, no, I will be upgrading a lot of different things on this coach. And over the course of, I would say, the next 6 to 7 months, I'm going to be getting a lot of things done on it. I've actually found a company that might wrap it.
Oh.
And I'm thinking about doing, like, here, I'll zoom out for a little bit. I'm actually thinking about doing the Mayhem background all the way around on the coach with the old logo.
Okay.
And putting that on the coach, because in all honesty, anytime I'm out with it, it's still a mobile studio.
Yeah.
So I think since I'm using 25% of it for a mobile office, and I can go ahead and use that as a tax write-off.
I mean, if you're going to start using it as your mobile office and that becomes a means of making money,
yes,
then technically the wrap on your coach or on your office,
right,
as
right.
it would be like wallpaper or paint, on like the outside of a building, or wallpaper on the inside. Technically you're just maintaining your place of work.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Okay, Corey. What part of Central Texas were you hog hunting in, and why were you doing it in the summer?
Yeah.
That's kind of my two questions. Because Corey says that he's been hog hunting down in Central Texas in the summer heat. It was 108 in the shade. This sounds like about a year ago.
Did you want the hog to be cooked between the time that it was shot and you got there?
Yeah, I mean, that's like pre-cooking it, slow roast.
Yeah. Well, it allows the fats to get back into the meat and, really maintain.
Sure, yeah. Oh, around Gonzales. Okay. A little bit further south than me. I'm up in the Highland Lakes. I'm in the hill country, which I absolutely love it here. Okay. Lots of good people around, lots of great places to go. Wonderful golf courses. 2 metropolitan areas. If I want to get some metro time, they are within an hour and a half of me, and both of them. I can't ask for a better place to live. I really can't. 5 lakes at my disposal like that. I really can't. I really do love where I'm at. Do certain people have certain opinions that I don't like? Absolutely. But hey, I'm not going to like everything about everybody.
That's kind of everywhere, isn't it?
Right. I mean, if you can't learn how to get over that, then you're going to wind up in a circle of people that every one of you is looking at each other going,
I mean, learning to agree to disagree
absolutely
is probably one of the most adult things you can learn that is so simple to learn.
Yeah. My friend Adrian and I, which you guys have heard me talk about Adrian before, Adrian and I have a lot of differing opinions, but I'll tell you what, we still love golfing together. We still love drinking together. We still love going out and hanging out, and we love a lively discussion with it. And we've had a few.
Yeah.
And he's one of my best friends. He's one of my best friends. He's somebody I know. I can tell him exactly what I think, and he's going to shrug it off and look at me and go, well, that's your opinion, dude. And that's it. And that's over.
Yeah.
We will agree to disagree on a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
My friend Don, again, somebody else. I've actually stood in Don's face and called him everything but a white man, and he's done the same to me. But he's still one of my best friends. And somebody I look forward to seeing every time I go up to Illinois. I have to take time to see Don. Hey, here's one that everybody knows I've disagreed with on multiple different occasions, and still one of my best friends, Rage, of all people. There's a great example.
Yeah.
I have even gone so far as to bang one of Rage's exes just to prove a point.
Well, not only that.
Granted, I wound up marrying her.
Yeah. I don't know why you decided to take the prank that far, but, you know.
Yeah, I should have known better.
Yeah.
Here's the one I should have remembered with that one. Condoms are a good idea. But no, I had to be stupid. Like, oh, okay, you don't have herpes. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Now,
I know, imagine that. You know, you have to worry about herpes and one of Rage's exes?
Well, this was before her.
Okay.
But on the flip side of the coin, you know, the only good thing that did come out of that was my kid.
Yeah.
I seem to say that quite a bit about a few of my exes. The only good thing that ever came out of you was my child.
But you had to come in for that.
I actually had one go, well, what was the only good thing that came in me? I'm like, me?
Mm-hmm.
Probably wasn't the right answer on the last one because I wound up divorced there too. I will say this for my youngest and his mom. I mean, me and his mom do not always see eye to eye. But she found a guy that is good for her. And I'm happy for that. And I'm happy for their happiness. And I hope they have a great life together. I don't want them trying to push and influence my son. I want him to make his own decisions. He has the intelligence. Allow him to utilize it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
Teach him how to think, not what to think.
Exactly. And I'll ask him questions. And I mean, Adam's been on the phone with me and heard me where I'm like, well, do you think this option or do you think this option? And not necessarily just restaurants. I mean, I'm talking like actual serious stuff.
Yeah.
And he'll think it out and make it and give me an answer. And 9 times out of 10, it's the answer that's the right answer.
Yeah. Although sometimes his whys are amusing for those answers.
What's that?
Sometimes the why of his answer, like how he came up with his answer, can be amusing.
Yeah, that could be quite amusing. The other one being where he'll come up with something completely on his own. Mm-hmm. And it is such a smart ass answer that all you can do is sit there and laugh.
He is his father's son.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. Keep thinking.
I try not to. It tends to hurt. Okay. One of the more difficult things I need to discuss tonight, Adam and I have discussed this over the last few days. I don't know where he gets that, Julie. I'm an innocent.
Right. As your halo hangs on the horn.
So one of the last things I have to discuss tonight, and it's not going to be exactly an easy subject for me to delve into this evening, but I've got to. So Monday afternoon, I received a phone call from Rage's wife. He was readmitted to the hospital. I got more information over the course of the next few days. After being readmitted, they wanted to start going through all the same stuff they had already been through. So against medical advice, Rage's wife pulled him out of the hospital. And Wednesday morning transported him to It's give me a second. I will give you the exact name of the facility in St. Louis. Supposed to be one of the better oncology hospitals in the central United States. All right, give me a second here. He is at Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis. He was admitted Wednesday. They listened to everything. They found out that they got more of the medical history. They got things moving in the correct direction, and they immediately moved him from the emergency room to the transfer ward. As of 5:00 this evening, he was moved from the transfer ward and transferred up to oncology. Okay. They are going to do another scan. They are going to dissect the biopsy themselves, and the oncology team will be making a determination with his high-grade glioma as to the stage. Is it just a stage 1 through 4 high-grade glioma, or is this glioblastoma, which glioblastoma is the worst of the worst when it comes to that. Yeah. Very rapid progression.
A high stage glioma means it's automatically a stage 3 or 4.
Right.
So
it is already diagnosed as a high grade, and it's been a very rapid onset.
The one time he has to get a high grade in something, it has to be
this. You know, he made that joke playing Cards Against Humanity. I am going to do this and say this as best I can. I know he would like to say a lot more if he was around, but I'm going to say it myself. There is a wrestler that is in Springfield, Illinois. But Corey, I have no idea how good Barnes is or how bad. I'm happy you're telling me they're a great hospital. I hope they do something for him. I mean, we're talking over 20 years of friendship, going into 21, actually right at about 21 now. And I don't want to lose my friend, you know, and that's the hard thing for me to kind of deal with right now, because I've got Marvin who is dealing with his cancer issues, and his daughter keeps me very much appraised. I've got Rage dealing with his wife keeps me very much appraised. And we have some very good, you know, I have some close family that's also dealing with medical issues. So there's a lot of things that are going on around me, which is a big reason why I pushed to take this new job.
Yeah.
And I'm moving forward with that. So, yeah, and Julie says it best. Glioblastoma is absolutely not a good prognosis. It's really not.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing really isn't good, but that you just don't even want to see that.
Yeah, no, you don't want to see that one. But unfortunately, and I mean, this is just my gut talking to me after researching this a little more and learning more about it. But with where Rage is at, we went from nothing, and inside of 3 weeks, we have tumors that are riddled far enough down into the brain that they are afraid to operate on it. We have multiple tumors in very, very influential centers of the brain. There are lesions involved, and this has been a progression of 3 weeks. 4 different hospital stays, and now he is finally in a hospital where Corey says he's in a great hospital, but he is in a hospital that hopefully can give us something for hope to at least maybe have another year or 2 years or 5 years or something. The neurosurgical team has already determined at this point that the vast majority of what's there, and the biggest tumor, which has made its way deep enough into the brain that they don't even want to try to mess with it, they have determined that as non-operable, and a lot of the other tumors to also be non-operable. The one question that I have had as far as, you know, where they're at, what's going on, and how bad it is this metastasized? And metastasized, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what that is, that literally means that's death sentence time. There's nothing they can do. Corey Corey says that he does not trust the cancer doctor in Springfield, especially at St. John's. And okay,
as someone who went through a cancer scare and went through St. John's, I agree with that. They had no idea what I had when they found that mass on my pancreas.
Oh yeah, I remember that a couple years ago.
They went through it and couldn't figure out what it was, and sent it to another team in Springfield, couldn't figure out what it was. They sent it up to Mayo Clinic, and they couldn't figure out what it was, and then tried again. And here, my doctor's telling me, well, everything's clear. But then I get something from Mayo saying, we don't know what it is. So I went from thinking I'm okay to being back in the unknown. And pancreatic cancer, found out too late, is a killer, guaranteed. It's like a 3% chance of survival when you get close to a year. And I was.
Right.
But later out it's just spleen tissue. So I'm cool for now. So
well, I think our benefit with Rage is one, his wife actually going to school and studying medical coding and kind of watching both hospitals at this point in Springfield, understood that, you know, St. John's was probably a bad idea. Now, 25, 30 years ago, I would have looked up and said, yeah, I'll go to St. John's.
Yeah.
I would have trusted St. John's when it was OSF St. John's.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what they are now, and I hear nothing, and I do mean nothing good about St. John's at this point.
I think it's like HSHS.
Yeah, and Corey kind of hits it on the head that the best thing I've heard about them is Killingfield. On the flip side of the coin, Rage's wife started with Decatur Memorial and then went to Springfield Memorial and got a better diagnosis from Memorial, which is where they did the biopsy.
Okay.
And they said, we are transferring him to Barnes. We are not equipped. He needs to go to Barnes.
Okay.
They sent him to Barnes Jewish. He's down there now. He is admitted. He is on the oncology floor. Message I have for the particular wrestler that has been getting into his wife's DMs is, you better pray that he gets better and will come kick your ass. This is not the time for you to rear your ugly head. And if you are listening, and I really hope that you are, and you better pay very close attention, I'm not a wrestler. I don't care. And you are messing with my friends. Now I'm on the playing field. He gets first dibs. He's gone. You're mine. And on that one, I will put him out on blast. And I will make sure to get copies of the DMs to send to his girlfriend. So he might want to back off.
Yeah.
And Rage's wife will make sure I have him. But so far, yeah, he is on the oncology floor. They have him on very high dose painkillers, like to the point. I really hope he does not fart.
Because it won't be a fart.
No, no, it won't. And I'm trying to make
my question to you on not the fart point, but the point right before that.
Well, I was going to say, I'm trying to make light of it, but yes, he has been getting put overnight into basically depends, because once he does get some rest, he's losing his bodily functions.
Is it they're keeping him comfortable, or is it just a temporary thing till they figure out what to do next?
Well, they're really doing what they can to figure out what to do next. Tomorrow he has a deep scan MRI that is supposed to show how bad it really is.
Yeah.
And based on the MRI and the biopsy, that's when we will get the final diagnosis and the stage. Okay. But they did diagnose it already at Springfield that it is a high-grade glioma, and that as you already stated, you're already stage 2 or stage 3, stage 4 there.
Yeah.
So
glioblastoma is that stage 4, like end of stage 4.
Right.
And that, from what I read, 5-year survival, you're looking at 5-10%.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did research this quite a bit over the last couple of days to have a better understanding of what we're looking at as far as what do we have for time with Rage? What do we have for, what are we looking at? What are we dealing with? Now, of course, I've had messages that I've had to deliver. I had a message from Marvin to deliver to Rage when Marvin figured out what was going on, and I talked to him about it. And Marvin told Rage to cremate his testicles and turn them into earrings for his wife. I was like, that's Marvin right there. Make light of it, I understand while playing Cards Against Humanity, if there was any and every cancer joke that could be made, Rage was making it. But again, I do believe that one of the tumors is into the pain center at this point, and it is causing a lot of problems in the pain center because they have him on high dose Dilaudid every 4 hours.
It's like, and we all know Rage can take some pain. Death matches.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Boy can handle some pain.
I mean, he even got thumbed in the butt in a wrestling match once.
Was that painful, or maybe?
Well, maybe for the other guy, because I think the other guy wound up with his finger broke because it was the sphincter finger.
Ooh.
And Rage clenched.
But if he can take that type of pain,
yeah, absolutely.
Then to say that he's on high dose of high-powered pain med,
yes,
every 4 hours, that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean, the man is in excruciating pain that he's not used to, and it literally, it's taking a very massive toll that none of us expected. So, of course, yeah. This is one of my closer friends. I was there for him and with him when he detoxed and he got off of drugs, and I was there with him and for him when he went through his first divorce. I was there with him and for him through a lot of different hard times. And he was borrowing money from me and eating my food and smoking my cigarettes when I was on hard times. Wait a minute here.
Yeah, sounds kind of uneven there.
It's kind of a one-sided friendship.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, we did a
friendship nonetheless.
The joking aside, we've done a lot of creating together. We've done a lot of writing together. We've done a lot of broadcasting together. We've done a lot. And at the end of the day, if I'm going to be very, very open and honest and sincere about it, what we've given each other is a very long friendship. I mean, he called me and he said, "Hey, I'm having problems. I'm going to move in with your sister." And I'm like, "No, don't." He calls me 2 weeks later. He goes, "I'm getting the hell out of your sister's house." I said, "I warned you."
Yeah.
And I can understand his reasons why. I mean, there's no roundabout ifs, ands, or buts. I really got it. You know, when I told him that myself and my other half were getting together, and I said, "Hey, you know," and he knows who she is. She was on previous shows. And I said, "Hey, we're getting together. I mean, this is where it's going to go." He goes, "Hey, don't fuck it up."
Mm-hmm. That's high praise from Rage.
I said, "You know, this has been about 10 years in the making. How am I going to fuck it up?" And he goes, "By being you."
Rage isn't really wrong on that. You
And
have
I
that
said, now, wait a minute. What makes you think that I, of all people, am going to screw it up by being me? He goes, "Easy, you're a whore."
Once again, not wrong.
Yes, he was wrong.
When given the opportunity, you have gone full whore.
Not lately.
That's only because of lack of opportunity.
That's not the fucking point.
If given the opportunity, you can and will.
That's not the point either.
Listen, it's not like you're going to go Super Saiyan of all whores and stuff, but you can if given opportunity. Just hopefully you get an opportunity soon. Jesus Christ.
I would never.
Yeah, right.
Now, if she gets down here, we might have to cancel a show or two. No, actually, I think she'd let me go ahead and come on the show, but she's going to like try to keep a dog collar on me or something with a leash where she can yank me out of here and be like, "No, he'll be right back."
You want to give me just like the zapping collar or something, so if you say something wrong, just zap.
Oh, hell no. Do I look as dumb as some other hosts I know? No way.
Yeah, just make sure you get paid for it.
Really? How am I going to get paid? In Scooby snacks?
Ask her if she's right there to do it. Oh, there you go, Julie.
Hey, if
Julie's
she was
got the idea.
Desk, that might be an idea.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that why you're so happy right now? Is your wife under the desk right now?
Yeah. See, she just has her phone on mute. That way it doesn't interact with my mic. But you know that. Why do you think I lean forward and then lean back upon occasion, and then lean forward again, and then lean back? I want to make sure that it looks like I'm engaged all the time.
Yeah, right. No, you're not.
Yeah, no. It's like, and all you
she starts gargling. We're gonna end the show. I promise.
Nah.
Because that's just showing off, and nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, I know. Nah.
Except maybe Steve.
No, I wouldn't let Steve get that.
So. Well, you do understand that Steve has probably already checked your wife out on Facebook.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest. He probably already has.
I know. And
he's probably already hit on her.
I don't know about hit on her, but it's probably fantasized about her already.
Oh, I'm sure he's fantasized about her. I'm sure he's fantasized about her and you together.
Oh. I wish I faked that. Oh, God. Last thing I need to hear is, hey, you have soft hands. Now bend over and
I mean, I'm just saying, that's I'm sure that
Julie,
fantasy has happened.
Yeah, according to Julie, he hasn't hit on her yet.
Oh, I'm seeing this in the chat room. But it won't be long. And once he figures out how to find Julie.
You say she can't really talk. She kind of has a mouthful, but
Oh, Lord.
What?
She better not put those pictures up, or Steve will definitely be looking for those.
No, the nothing we do like that.
And on that note,
those are for me and her. That's it.
On that note.
No, keep going.
Oh, just video, she says.
Yeah, there was one time, but we didn't.
This is the longest late night show we've done yet.
Yeah, almost 2 hours.
We've done a normal length show. There's a switch.
I know.
I don't know what's going on with that.
What?
Ah, my internet's messing up. Here we go. All right. All right, Adam. Final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, kind of hard to think. No, I think it was a pretty good show. And I mean, obviously we had the update on Braves, but we kind of need to keep updating. Hopefully we'll have good news as an update. I think that's what we all hope. As for the other stuff, yeah, I think it was a good show. Thanks, Corey, for coming on and talking with TJ and me. Of course, I thank my wife, but right now she's thanking me. I thank you. So I'll hand it over to TJ.
All right. So everybody, thank you again for tuning in and supporting this. I know it's a little odd doing it this late, but we're loving it. And now here we are. It's 1:15 in the morning Central Time. If my lovely better half is in the chat room, again, I am sorry for Tuesday. Love you to death. By the way, I'm bringing you a whole truckload of Chewy. Now don't tell me to fuck off. And I'm going to do that as soon as you get transferred down here and you're working in Austin. I will be sleeping in the coach for a week after that. No, there's no probably. It'll happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously you have no problem sleeping in the coach. You do it currently.
Been doing it for a year. I'm good, over a year. In the meantime, Sunday night we will be back for Mayhem's Amigos. 6 p.m. like always. With the new job, be ready for a little bit of time change. We're probably going to shake it up again. We might even add another show.
Okay.
So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Corey, thank you for being a big support in the chat room tonight. Julie, eating children is a bad idea, but hey, that's your call, so more power to you. I'm TJ. That is Adam. This has been Amigos After Dark. We will see you Sunday night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.